If you went four-wheel driving too hard this Christmas holidays like me, this video is for you, because today I'm going to be changing my CV and I've never changed one before, so it might be a bit interesting. Before I get started, laid out a few tools I know I'm going to need, like some hammers, long nose pliers, sockets, ratchets, spanners, Loctite, always good for four-wheel drives, anti-seize, screwdriver, wire brush, circlip pliers, and some zip ties and rags. First off, if you have freewheeling hubs, you got to start with them. So 10mm on a 3/8 ratchet. Get my electric gun out to speed this up a little bit. And this is what you will have if you don't have freewheeling hubs. You need an 8mm Allen key or a socket. Just crack these. Now that will come off if you don't have freewheeling hubs, I'm pretty sure, but we'll leave it on for now. And 19mm if you have standard nuts, and get them cracked. All right. Now we got to jack it up. If you're on the floor, I'd put a jack pretty much right here. There should be a bash plate on this, but I don't have mine on. Or here if it works out better for you. I'll slap these on. It's more jacked than I realise. If you jacked this up with a floor jack and you're doing this job on the floor, you always got to remember to prop this up with some safety chock, so in case the jack fails you don't get crushed. Now to thread the tyre nuts off. Tyre off. Look at a chunk on that. Circlip next. Oop. This is why we got rags. That's that. Right, well, we're gonna have to pull the hub off, so I'll go for the caliper, I reckon. I'm gonna guess it at 17mm. Wrong. 22. We'll cover it up in CV grease. The other one's right here. before you get that completely out, I'm gonna get some zip ties handy. Just hang it out there like that. Alright, next up, I'm going to try to get this steering rack link off. Tie rod end. Get these pliers. The split pin. And maybe 19mm for the nut. Nope. 22. Ideally, when you're pulling these off, you want this really mad tool, but I don't have one. I'm gonna try a few different things here. First up, usually I beat it with a hammer, but you don't want to hit the thread. You want to sort of hit on the hub here. Gonna need to jack the hub up for this ute because it's so lifted. So usually if your ute isn't ridiculously lifted, this will just come down and pop out, but because mine is, I might have to jack the hub up. Almost there. That's that out of here. Now when we go to pull the CV out, it's going to leak oil out from where it goes in, but because mine needs a change anyway, I'm going to just drain it all out from here. Crack the fill. And if you don't do this, you're going to want to have a drain tray ready because otherwise it'll make a mess. And then we'll get to cracking these little bolts way in here, 17mm looking things. And then this one here. Okay, that should be free. then to pull off the top top ball joint. I'll lower this. And before you pull the hub down, you're gonna have to move this ABS sensor. A little bit of a challenge to get this ABS sensor out, but go with a screwdriver or a chisel and a hammer. Eventually it'll loosen up. Okay, that's that. You can drop your hub. Move this up. This end out. If that didn't work, you might have to pull these 4 bolts out and pull the whole hub off. Just do that. Hopefully it fits out. Okay. Next you're gonna need, get this circlip off. Then this snap ring, or then the bearing will come off. Hammer and tap away at it. Then the bearing comes out. Then you can pull off this circlip here. And that's out. And you should get this replaced, the seal and bearing. Then with a scraper and clean rag, clean up this surface here. And inside where the seal should run. Then you get your good CV, put it here, slide this on. Well, actually first we'll clean this up. Slide that on like this. Good seal and bearing. Pretty critical that you make sure this is all clean. Okay. Seal goes on. Then the circlip. Sure it's clipped in. Then bearing, and it turns out you don't have to pull that snap ring off. And the other circlip. Okay, and that's ready to go. Next, a new rag. And I use brake cleaner to clean stuff up, works pretty good. Wipe that again, wipe this again. Before you put the new CV in, you're going to want to make sure that you clean up as much as you can in this area. If you have a gurney, it'd be best to just give it a good hit at the end after it's all done too. And pull off. You'll have to pull the whole hub off to fit the new CV. Like that. Then a bit of sealant. I'm using this. Just run it around like that. Then a new CV with this elastic. When we put everything back together, I always use a little bit of Navisees. Okay, once you get them 4 17mm bolts in, and get this one in before you tighten anything. Unless you've got a diff drop kit, you won't have this spacer like I do. Once they're all in, you can tighten them all up. Next for the hub to go back in. Okay, next we anti-seize these lower ball joint bolts ready to go for the hub. CV into it and then slide the bottom in. Okay, sweet. Give them a quick buzz. Okay. I'm going to do this because it'll save me in the end, but if you don't have a stupid lift kit, it will just work anytime you like. Yeah, tighten that down. You should also anti-seize this. Mine already had a bit left on it from last time, so it's okay. Get it on tight and make sure castle nut lines up for the pin. And if your ones are pretty weak, you should get these replaced as well, but mine are okay. Well, I'm gonna have to jack this up again. But if you don't have a 4-inch lift kit again, this should just slide up normal. Bit anti-seize on these. Okay, that's that. Next, the ABS sensor. Oh, I'll let this down now that everything's tight. Best use some small sort of punch, but give it a bit of a tap. Okay, put this cable back. Get some pliers, wherever mine are. Bend these back over. Go for the caliper now. Make sure these pads are good. Leave the pads out, I reckon will make it easier for us. Get our bolts. Okay, get that one on for the next one. Get that nice and tight again. That's them. And a 12 to undo this. Then you can slip your old pads in. Make sure you don't get any grease on that surface. And if you do, spray a bit of brake cleaner on it and wipe it down like this. Once they're in place, you slide the caliper back over. Put the bolt back. Tighten that. Then clean rag. Some brake cleaner. Probably best to clean them while the caliper was off, but if you get the rag in the right spot. Next for the hub. This is a freewheeling hub. If you don't have these, it doesn't matter. They don't come with them. And I'm gonna have to pull all these 4 bolts off to put this in. Ready to put the wheel back on now. Okay. Really get these diff plugs in now because I've left them out. Now, these Dmax's front diff uses 75 W90, so just make sure you get the bottom one in tight and you just pump a weight. And even if you didn't actually pull all the oil out but just change your CV, you would have lost enough to where you better just open that plug up and make sure that it's filled back up to this level. Oh, that's it. Plug. Rag. Wipe up the mess and give the plug a nip. Okay. That'll do for the drain tray. While the tyre's up, it's good to give them a little buzz. If you don't have a gun, you're going to want to tighten them up finger tight and then get a bar and tighten up just a little bit extra and then drop it down and tighten them real good. Okay, now I can let the jack down. Okay. And you got to see that little tang there and line it up to the one that's got the gap. Okay, and that's how to change a CV in your Dmax. Thanks for watching, hope you like it, and if you've got any other ideas on what I should do next, let me know.